Alright, so on this keypad right now, it's unlocked. If I want to lock it, I think I can just press and hold this for a second. And there, it locked itself. And so now you can see that it is fully locked. If I want to unlock it, I can either type in my code, or I learned my fingerprint, so I can just press this onto there. And there, it's unlocked and will open up. Alright, hey everyone, I'm going to review this new smart lock that came from Nuki. Now this is a well-known brand over in Europe, and they've been in business for like 10 years, but they just came to America. So this is their first lock that is for the standard American Deadbolt cylinder there. So I'm going to unbox this, show you how it gets installed, but I'll also put it actually on my outside door and operate it and use it. So this is their flagship one, their smart lock. It also comes with their keypad too. So this is allows you to type in obviously a number sequence to unlock it, but it can also use your phone. You can share this with other people so they can unlock it with their phone. It even has automatic locking when you actually approach the door with your phone with their app. It will automatically unlock it for you as you go there. And you can integrate this into your smart home system. If you look on the side of the box here, it shows you it supports Matter, it supports Apple Home, it supports Google Home, Alexa, and Samsung Smartthings. So you can integrate it with most of your smart home systems that you might have with your rest of your devices. So let me go into it and show you first how it gets installed, and then we'll mess with the settings in the app itself. And now, of course, if you're interested in the product, I do have links down below in the video description, as well as the first comment, so you know where to find it. And then also consider hitting that thumbs up button right down below in YouTube, that YouTube knows this is a good video. And then also consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Alright, there's that. Alright, so this is all the stuff in the box. Here we have a USB cord. Now I believe this is a charging cord that on the bottom side of the lock, this is a little magnetic click that goes on there, so that's how you can charge this. And then of course it has the attachment plate that goes on your door itself. And then what this is designed to do is really be compatible with any American Deadbolt. So you need to have the lock already put in there, and then this has little adapters for the standard types of rods, or I'm sure there's a name for it, but you know, if you have a flat spade one, you'd use this one. If you have a square one, you'd have this one. If you have a rectangle, you have this one. And this basically fits into here with little gears, and then that's how it adapts. And then it's going to, if you have the inside, if you have like one of those little thumb flips, this would replace that and go into there and be your thumb flip to unlock and lock the door. Okay, so the lock comes with a quick start guide QR code, so I'm just going to scan that here on my tablet and we'll see what it goes to. Alright, so here is the installation guide. We'll open this PDF up and see what it says here. Alright, so these blue things now, I see what they are. This is to hold the lock on your door, because when you take off the screws and take out the inside of your lock, the outside might want to fall off. So this blue tape there is, I guess, to hold that in so it doesn't flop off. And then you can see it tells you to remove those two screws. On the interior side, this measurement card is to measure how far out that little spade sticks. I guess they call it the tail piece. And then here it's showing you that if you need a spacer to further space it away, you can install that to give you a little bit more depth. And then it tells you to just use those screws to secure it back in place. And then it should be as simple as getting this guy, popping it on and twisting it. Alright, so I went ahead and installed a deadbolt here. So this is a standard thing. This is a Slage deadbolt. Obviously you want to make sure that it works normally. And that's one thing to know about all these smart locks, is you do want to make sure that when the door is closed all the way, it doesn't have any resistance. It just can go in and it's all aligned. If not, you want to adjust your door, or these little lock plates, you know, on the door jamb, so that it opens and closes the lock without interfering. So I'm going to follow the instructions. I'm going to skip the tape because it's easy for me to hold it. But this is how quick this lock is to actually take off. So I'm just going to take off the 2 screws here on the back side. This would be on the inside of your door. So once those are out, I can take off the inside handle, and now I can see my tailpiece here. I can look at the depth, and I can see that it is actually in the deeper area, and that's because my fake door here is actually on the thin side. So that, I guess that means I'm probably going to need the spacer on this unit. Okay, so I can see here if I put this on and just hold it there, and then I take my little adapter piece and I slide it over, what I can see is that if I slide that all together tight, the tailpiece sticks out past the little gear. And I can see from on the inside, the reason why they tell you need the spacer if it's in this light yellow area is because that needs to not stick out any further, otherwise this won't go on. So I have to take this off, and then I have to add on the little extension bracket. So to do that, I take off these 2 screws that are on here to break this apart. And then now I take off the metal piece, put this one in its place here, and then what I'm going to use the original bolts that came off the door lock, and they go in through here. And then the instructions are a little bit unclear because they say the marking on the devices, you want them to line up. What that means is there's a little line at the top, a little groove, and that is facing up. The other way you can tell is the words inside there says like Nuki and other stuff. You want the words to be, not upside down, and then you should get it right that way. So I'm gonna line this in here now. You have to wiggle a little bit to get it lined up, and then you just get this centered, and then we're going to tighten these down in here. Now what I like to do is get it fairly close, then I look at both the inside and outside, make sure that it's all lined up and nothing is what I call cattywampus, and then I tighten it down. Alright, so now I can take my adapter piece. Remember, you got to pick the right one for whatever type of tailpiece you have. And then you get this lined up into there, and I can see that the tailpiece is not sticking out past the yellow, so it should be good. So now I'm going to take this guy. This is the main unit here, and then I can see again that it has words or sticker up top. So I'm going to take this unit, and there's a little button down here that I know is kind of the release for. So I'm going to take this, and then we're going to attach it. There we go. So it just has a little soft click, and now it's attached, and I can go to the next step. Alright, so on this keypad right now, it's unlocked. If I want to lock it, I think I can just press and hold this for a second, and there it locked itself, and so now you can see that it is fully locked. If I want to unlock it, I can either type in my code, or I learned my fingerprint, so I can just press this onto there, and there it's unlocked and will open up. So very easy to use lock here. I like it as simple. This keypad has adhesive back, so you can just stick it wherever you want, or it does have 2 screw holes if you want a firmer one. And then to take it off, you can just slide it up, and then it pops off its little bracket there. And this one does have, it looks like 4 AAA batteries that it uses to keep going, and it does give you a battery state in the app itself, so you can keep an eye on how that works. But if this runs out, you can always use your phone again and unlock it as well. Okay, so now that it's all installed and been working for a while, I have a couple comments with it. And one of the things that I think is actually probably the neatest is that it doesn't require a login on your device. So you're not giving another password that someone could get access to and hack into. So At first, I thought that was kind of maybe weird and not secure, but actually, the more I think about it, the more I use it, actually, the more secure it actually appears. So you can obviously share your access with other people. So in fact, it's by device. So I shared it from my tablet to my phone, for example, and you just do that in the app in the settings where you get an invite code. You can do a QR code, and then that device can get access to it as well once you give it permission to do that. All right, so if I just open up this Nuki app here, you can see that it shows that it is locked. I can slide it up there, and I can do a couple things. I can do unlock, I can lock it, I can do lock and go, which that means basically, I think you can also tap the button twice on it when you go out. That is going to have a delay. I think the default's 20 seconds that is going to wait, and then it will lock it back. So something where you can just, close the door behind you, and then it's going to lock itself back after 20 seconds. You can click settings here, and you can see a couple things. Now, one thing I guess I do want to mention is I did activate the Nuki Premium. And at first I wasn't going to because I thought it cost money. But they actually have a great deal that in 2025, if you actually buy it and activate it by December 31st, I believe, you get it for free for life. So obviously that's a no-brainer because you're going to be grandfathered in to always have that feature, and that's going to give you some extra remote access. It's going to give you some more log settings as far as when people come and go. So it's a really nice feature to have, and you can get it for free. So why not? Now, the other cool thing I think is this connection status. So you can see there it shows the smartphone to the server, so that's going to the internet, the cloud, and then you see that symbol there is the Matter over Thread to the lock. And then last thing that showed up there is in yellow is the Bluetooth. That's because it's upstairs, so my Bluetooth signal, it picks it up down here, but it's weak, of course, and it's because I'm a good 30 feet away or something from it. That's kind of cool to see, and I guess that highlights the point that I did connect mine to Matter, and for that I'm using my Home Assistant. But again, this is compatible with lots of different other things. You can have Google Home, Alexa, Apple Home, all that kind of good stuff. It's highly compatible with these different devices. So now my lock is integrated to my Home Assistant setup, and now I can do things with it, like I can do routines where I lock or unlock it and do other statuses and whatnot. So that's kind of cool to see. The other thing is your users, of course. You can add multiple users. I don't know how many. There's probably a limit, like 100 or something. But you can add lots of users. The downsides that I have found is a couple things. One is the users, when you set up a passcode for them, there is not a way to get past the 6-digit requirement, and there is no 0 on the keypad. So that's a problem for me because my wife likes to have a 0 in her code, and then we have another person that comes to the house that also has a 0 in there. So they're going to have to remember a new code, or my fix for it is the fingerprint. So the keypad has a fingerprint reader, and honestly, that's the quickest and easiest. I like it for my kids as well because I had my daughter learn her fingers there so that she can get in easily as well. Then, of course, here you can add this to your home screen so you get a quick and easy toggle just on your phone or tablet home screen. You don't even have to go into the app if you don't want to. But then you can also have it just auto unlock. So I have it disabled, and it's because for mine it's a door lock, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to. I don't use it every day for entrance and exit, so I'm not going to have it unlocked. But what I thought was kind of neat about this is that because I was curious how it was going to work. You have your geofencing, but the geofencing is not super accurate, and so it's going to be kind of a wide circle. And then when you get within that radius, it's going to prepare to unlock your lock, but it's not going to do it until your device gets within Bluetooth range of the actual lock itself. So that I thought was actually a pretty neat feature, and you can enable that in here. And this is where it tells you then when it gets within Bluetooth range, it unlocks it automatically. That's something you can set up there for you. Okay, then in here in the activity log, if I pull that up, that's going to show you all the most recent activities. Now, of course, I did some testing with this, so you can see if I manually turned the lock or if we had a fingerprint done. I don't see a keypad one in here, but I could type in the keypad as well, or I could use the app as well as another way to do that. So what else in here on these features and configurations for the lock itself? So this one is doing admin. You can see the little lock icon. I think that means a couple things. One, I think my user has to be an admin, and I might need to be on Bluetooth to get to these settings. I'm not positive on that. But in here in your general settings, you can just see the firmware status. You can change security code, the location. You can change the time zone, which I should probably do. Go in here and find Eastern time zone for me. Now here it has built-in Wi-Fi. If you turn on that Wi-Fi, and that also includes Matter, I think Thread is, Matter over Thread is a little bit more efficient than straight Wi-Fi, but both of those are going to increase your battery usage. They say generally you get about 6 months of battery usage out of the device, and then you need to plug in this cable here. Now for me, that's pretty easy to do. I will have one complaint here, and that is that this is a unique proprietary, or at least I think it is, charging cord. It is magnetic, which I do like, that way you're not likely to break it off. But the downside of this is now I have to put this cord somewhere and remember where it is every 6 months, which quite frankly might become a challenge considering how many USB cords I have laying around the house. So I'm going to have to keep this someplace safe and readily able to get out and charge up that device whenever the battery does die, but it's not going to require a lot. And in general, I do like the rechargeable battery stuff better than like the double A's or 9 volt or other ones that they have, because the rechargeable ones tend to last a lot longer. But I wish it would have just a regular USB-C port, because then I wouldn't have to worry about keeping that cable handy. On the battery itself here, it's going to show you it should be 100% still. Energy mode, it shows you if it's automatic. I think you can change that into energy saving. And then there's a balance mode and a performance mode that you can have on there. What I will say is that the lock seems very strong. It seems powerful at locking and unlocking, which is a nice feature. But in the LED, you can turn these on and off. You can do these double press or single press buttons that you want it to do. Change the brightness there. There's a night mode, so this is setting up a kind of a default routine, I would say, that at a certain time at night it's going to automatically lock the device. And you can also do these other schedulings and reject, auto lock, or unlock, but I'm going to keep that off because I'm actually controlling this with my home assistant to lock or unlock it at night, or based off my mode of my house. If you want to set up a schedule or a timer for specific locking or unlocking things, you can set that up there. Lock and go, we already talked about. Auto lock, this is where it's going, you can tell, hey, automatically lock itself after a given amount of time. So if that's something that you want to do, you can set that up here. Okay, so to get notifications, you do need to set up a Nuki web. That's not something I've done yet, but I will do that so I can get those. And then we already talked about the smart home stuff, how you can integrate it with other things. So that is the key, I think, settings here. You can change the names of it. Okay, so if I want to add someone, I can just go up here and then I click invite user. This will allow me to get a QR code. Once I type in their name, I'll just do a test here. Click OK, and then you can decide what you want to give them. If you want them to have remote access or limited time. So let's say if I just want to give them access for a specific day or days of the week or specific times of the day, you could set that up here. And so I'm going to turn that off so I can go to the next page. And then what it's going to give me is a unique QR code that person can scan. I think there is another way you can give them like an actual this number here, or this, you can copy and send this, so they don't have to use a QR code. But if they're close to you, certainly you could do that. But you can just send them that code, and then when they have to download the Nuki app, they do not need a username and password. They don't have to give email or anything out, but then they just redeem that invitation and type in that that code that you just copied and hit OK, and that's going to give them those permissions. All right, well, hopefully this was a helpful video to show you the features of this device, how easy it is to install. In general, my overall summary is it is probably one of the easiest locks I have installed. I loved how I can just take off the interior little door handle or knob on my deadbolt, put this device on, and then it auto calibrates and learns the lock, and then I was basically right away being able to lock and unlock it instantly from the app. And then setting up the users was easy and straightforward. Keypad was super easy to use. I was able to follow those instructions. I got all my fingerprints saved, and then those have been working great so far. My only downsides to it, as I mentioned earlier, is the charging cable is a unique proprietary. And then the other thing I did find that I did not like about it is that door is one you have to push for the bottom latch to go all the way, and that makes it so the deadbolt goes very easily. But if like my younger kids don't close the door all the way and it's like half latched, then the deadbolt is harder to engage fully. And the problem with that is from the outside, the great thing is that you get a standard lock with a key that, your physical key still works. but you have no indications when it gets fully locked or fully unlocked. Whereas some of my other smart locks will either beep at me or have a little flashing light that will indicate that it got successfully locked or unlocked. And on this one, there's times I'm up there and I either tell it to unlock, but someone didn't have the door closed all the way, and then I don't really get indication that it didn't unlock, and so I'm kind of unsure what state it's in. Obviously, if I open up the app, I could see the state in there, but if I'm just there at the keypad using my fingerprint or something, it doesn't show. So that's the downside to not having some part of the smart lock on the outside of the house, but then it has a lot of pros too. So that's all I really saw from the downside. The app itself and the features, the ease of use, that all worked really well. On some other devices, brands I've had out there, the apps are kind of flaky. This one seemed to be pretty robust, and that's probably because they've been in business for 10 years over in Europe. It's just they're newer to America. So all said and done, I'm happy with the lock. I would recommend it. If you want to see a link to the device specifically, go down below. I'll have a link to where you can get the best price for it. And then, of course, don't forget to hit that like button and then consider subscribing to see more content like this.